Good morning, Mama S here. This next post, I leave you with a little challenge at the end, which is really fun and got some people talking. So, again, this is Mama S, and today we're talking about blog post number 29 and constantly learning. And this was at the end of November of 2017, which means Precocious was living with us for about 6 months. And something that we talk about a lot in this post is the fact that she came to us as a preteen, a very tall preteen. Like, she came up about to here on me, and she didn't know how to do things that you would expect a 5-year-old to know how to do. One of them was brushing her teeth. That we learned right away. And we tried talking to her and kind of learning and how everything was going. Sorry, there was something on my screen. We kind of tried talking through it, and finally I'm like, well, how do you teach a 2-year-old how to brush their teeth? You show them. And so we went in the bathroom, and I brushed, and I did one side of my mouth, and she did that side of my mouth, and then I did this side, and then the bottoms, and the tops, and the front, and behind, and the tongue, and all of that. And she watched me and did exactly what I did. And one of the things that we learned early on is we focus on one thing a month. I make a joke in there, and that's a really cool phrase. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And when Precocious came to live with us, we learned she didn't know how to use silverware. She didn't know how to brush her teeth. She didn't know how to use a towel. She didn't know how to talk on the phone. She didn't know how to clean up certain things. She didn't know to respect different items. She didn't know to close the doors. Like, there were a lot of things that she had just never learned, and we had to keep having that thought in our mind, like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You can't change everything about a person overnight. Like, that's just, if you think about yourself, that's going to take a long time. So we do one thing a month, and we focus on that for that month. We leave everything else, and it doesn't matter. So, like, for that first month, we focused on brushing our teeth because teeth health is so important. And we, did the watching, brushing teeth for an entire, I would say that was 2 weeks. And then, like, I would watch her brush her teeth for a week, and then we would brush our teeth together and dance around the living room and make it kind of fun. And to do the time, but we did a really great job, focused on brushing teeth. Another thing we learned is she had no idea how to use a towel. Honestly, we did not focus on this long enough because this is still a problem. But she gets out of the shower and she puts her clothes on immediately. So her clothes, her pajamas, are soaking wet. Her hair is dripping as she's walking. Like, it's insane. That one we didn't focus on long enough, and we actually have to circle back and focus on that. But, some of the higher level things that you learn in school and from your peers and from watching your family are critically thinking, processing ideas, empathizing people, relating actions with consequences, washing dishes, taking care of personal items, talking to friends, family, strangers, talking on the phone. That first while when she lived with us, phone conversations were just the absolute worst. And so I would sit on the couch, she would sit next to me, and she would talk to someone, and I would feed her what to say, because otherwise the conversation was absolutely terrible. Now, the good thing is we've made progress, and that's not as big of an issue. But that's definitely something to kind of think about. And I just say anyone who's looking at taking foster kiddos, or people that have lived through trauma, you have a physical age, the age you look, you have a chronological age, the age you are based on the calendar, and you have an emotional age and a mental age. And those you can't see, but you learn over time. And she came to us as a preteen, but like life skills wise, teeth brushing tool, utensils, all of that stuff, she came to us at about a 2-year-old age. And eventually, and another post that I'll have a while from now, is I realized eventually, and it was far too long, I realized she didn't know how to take a shower. She had never bathed herself, and so and I talk about that. That's its own post on how we taught that. But we realized that her daily living skills age was that of a 2-year-old. So the things that you would teach a 2-year-old, we had to teach her, which is fine. You go back there and you kind of work your way forward. But my challenge to you, and this one was a lot of fun, and the people that did it really enjoyed it and gave me some really interesting comments, is it's putting yourself in these foster kiddos' shoes. And if you think about it, that's like me picking you up, moving you to a different country where you don't know the people, you don't know the smells, you don't know the food, you don't know where anything is at any point, and we just drop you there. You don't get to talk to anyone from your previous life. It's like witness protection. You don't get to talk to anyone in your previous life often, and if you do, it's for very brief periods of time, and you've just got to figure it out, and people are just living their lives. So a way that you can practice this for yourself is, I'm right-handed, so the challenge is to use my left hand for everything that I do over the next 24 hours. Everything. So that is from, changing my fork to that hand and using my knife in the other hand, putting my shoes on. Challenging one would be going to the bathroom, eating, drinking, changing your mouse if you use a computer to the non-dominant hand, writing with that hand, everything that you would do with your right hand. You immediately go to grab something, stop yourself, grab it with your non-dominant hand, and see how that feels. Now imagine if every time you reached for something with your dominant hand, you got in trouble. Because that's the way you've always done it. That's the way you've lived. That's the way you were raised. That's the way everything was going. But now you have to do everything with your left hand. And a lot of people expect, listen, in this house we use our left hand. That's just the way you have to do it. That's the way it is. But you were raised right-handed. You're going to have slip-ups. You're going to have mistakes. And it's how you kind of grow through that. And it's just all about having patience. So I love talking about this. I love talking about the activity, and I love talking about people's thoughts about it. So go ahead and comment. Let me know how it goes. Even do it for 20 minutes. It'll be impactful for 20 minutes. So thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying, please subscribe. And as always, please share. Thank you.